Ever stop to think that the big data engine your company loves might actually be costing you a fortune?
It's a really common blind spot, actually.
Yeah, imagine this. You launch a big project, everyone's excited, powered by Apache Spark, right? Ready for amazing insights.
The promise is huge.
But then, weeks later, you see the cloud bill. Oof, maybe it's doubled, tripled.
Or worse, and reports are suddenly late.
Exactly. And maybe compliance is knocking. That powerful tool suddenly feels like a liability.
Yeah.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this hidden cost. Why Spark, this incredibly powerful thing, can, well, quietly drain resources if you don't optimize it.
Right.
Our mission here is to explore why optimization isn't just optional, especially in really critical areas like finance, like healthcare,
Absolutely critical.
and how expert help is often the key to unlocking Spark's, its real value.
And it's so popular for good reason. Spark was built for speed.
Right, speed and flexibility.
Exactly, and scaling up massively. That's why it became the go-to for, well, anywhere data is core, fintech, health tech, complex research.
Makes sense.
But here's the catch, the nuance people often miss. Spark isn't just plug and play,
Ah,
especially not in these heavily regulated fields where data is enormous and performance is just paramount.
not just nice to have, but essential.
Totally essential. Think about it, one slow Spark job. In finance, that could mean missing a critical fraud alert, real money lost,
Ouch.
or even more seriously in healthcare. It might delay a crucial patient diagnosis. The stakes, they're incredibly high. We're talking serious financial costs and, frankly, undeniable human costs, too.
So, okay, if Spark is this powerful, what's actually going wrong? Where are the pitfalls that turn it into this resource hog?
Yeah, good question.
Are there common mistakes you see people making again and again? Because on paper, it sounds amazing.
It does. And honestly, it's rarely one giant mistake. It's more like death by a thousand cuts, lots of small inefficiencies adding up. We often find the issue isn't Spark fundamentally, but how it's being used, how it's implemented.
Right.
It sounds weird, but sometimes throwing more compute power at a badly tuned job makes it even slower.
Really? How does that work?
Well, imagine trying to force more water through a tiny straw by using a bigger pump. You just get more pressure, more turbulence, not more flow.
Okay. Bad analogy maybe, but I get the idea. It's not about brute force.
Exactly. Optimization is about finding the real bottlenecks, not just adding hardware. And these unoptimized jobs cause so many problems.
Like what specifically?
Longer run times, obviously. Cloud bills that just, creep up and up.
Yeah, the sticker shock.
Definitely. But also data quality issues. Errors creep in, things get missed, and huge compliance headaches.
Can you give an example?
Sure. From the sources we look at in finance, maybe a crucial financial report is late. That means fines, maybe reputational damage.
Big deal.
Huge. In healthcare, it could be things like patient records becoming inaccessible when needed, or analytics that guide care being delayed. That directly impacts patient outcomes.
Wow. Okay. You mentioned things like data skew or inefficient shuffling being big culprits sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not always these grand design flaws, is it? Sometimes it's the small stuff.
You nailed it. It's those details, like inefficient joins. Maybe you have a small table that should be broadcast to all the workers.
Broadcast, meaning copied everywhere.
Right, so each worker has it locally. But if it's not, Spark might shuffle massive amounts of data across the network just to do that join. Super slow, super inefficient.
Okay, got it.
Or memory issues. Bad caching strategies mean data keeps spilling to disk. RAM is fast, disk is slow, turns a quick operation into a crawl.
Right.
And partitioning, using smart strategies, efficient formats like Parquet or ORC. That's not just about saving space.
No.
No, it lets Spark read only the specific columns and partitions it needs for a query. Huge speed up, lower costs.
So this is where the experts come in.
This is exactly it. This is where Spark specialists make a real difference.
Yeah.
They aren't just coders. They're like outcome tuners.
Outcome tuners.
I like that. They do deep dives into the architecture, find those specific bottlenecks, the joins, the memory spills, the partitioning gaps, and fix them.
So it's tailored.
Very tailored. They don't just tune code. They tune the results, reducing compute costs, tightening up those SLAs, the service level agreements.
Which are critical in these fields.
Absolutely. And building data pipelines that are actually resilient, that can scale. The payoff is clear, faster insights, much lower costs, and a system you can actually trust, technically and legally.
Okay, so let's make this really concrete for you listening. What does this mean in practice?
Yeah, let's ground it.
Take a big healthcare network. They're using Spark, analyzing electronic health records, right? huge amounts of sensitive data.
Very sensitive.
Without optimization, those jobs are slow. They miss reporting deadlines, those SLA windows.
Which can have consequences.
Big ones. And maybe worse, they might be processing patient data without proper masking or without clear lineage tracking. That's a compliance nightmare.
Huge risk.
Yeah.
You need to know where data came from, how it was transformed.
Exactly. But now, bring in a Spark optimization consultant, they redesign the pipelines, suddenly job times drop maybe by 60%. We've seen that.
Dramatic improvements are possible.
Cloud costs get slashed. And really importantly, you get robust data governance. Cleaner transformations, logs you can actually audit. That data lineage is solid.
Traceability, crucial.
So it's like a triple win, isn't it?
Right.
Better patient care because the insights are timely, stronger compliance because it's traceable and secure, and a lower bill.
It really is. And now connect that idea to finance. The gains there are massive too.
Okay, how so?
Think about fraud detection. Needs to be fast, almost real time. Or regulatory reporting deadlines are non-negotiable.
Right.
When those Spark pipelines are finely tuned, your machine learning models for fraud can retrain way faster on new data.
Catching new patterns quicker.
Exactly. Dashboards refresh constantly, giving analysts truly up-to-the-minute views. The whole infrastructure just runs leaner, more efficiently.
So it's not just a tech fix.
Not at all. What's really interesting is seeing how that technical precision, getting the Spark jobs right, translates directly into strategic business advantage.
Oh.
Better risk management, faster response times, lower operating costs. It all adds up. It genuinely boosts the bottom line and can give you an edge over competitors who are maybe struggling with slow or costly data processes.
Okay, so the core message here, the takeaway from this deep dive for listening is pretty clear then.
Yeah, I think so.
Apache Spark. It can be that competitive edge, that data powerhouse.
Absolutely. It has the potential.
And it's a big but only if it's optimized, really optimized with precision. You can't just set it and forget it and hope for the best, especially with costs and compliance.
You really can't leave performance and compliance to chance. The risks are just too high. Which, it brings up a really important question, I think. In a world that's just drowning in data, with regulations getting tighter all the time, can organizations, especially those in finance or healthcare, can they actually afford not to optimize their most critical data engines? In these regulated industries, there's just no room for slow, no room for wasted money, and definitely no room for compliance gaps. Optimization isn't a luxury. It feels more like a necessity now.